Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Mathieu with Forbidden Knowledge News. And I'm back again to invite you to what's going to be the best conference of 2020, the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference. It's going to be February 15th to 22nd in Laughlin, Nevada. And there's going to be over 30 amazing speakers there. 9 of them are international, and they're coming here just to present information to you at the conference. Some of these speakers are going to be presenting information for the first time ever. So trust me, you don't want to miss this amazing event. And I'm very happy to be here with award-winning author, researcher, artist, and documentary filmmaker, Jim Nichols. Mr. Nichols, how you doing today?
Very good, thanks. Great to see you here today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to do this.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to your presentation at the conference. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your research and what you're going to be presenting to us at the conference?
That's interesting. Just before we connected, I'm still tweaking my presentation a little bit. I have never told my own personal story at a UFO conference. I've done research into like the German saucer programs and President Eisenhower's alleged UFO contact back in 1954. I've told all these other stories about ufology, but I've never told my own story, which began with an association with Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Stevens, famous UFO investigator, from back in 1980. And it was through that association that I began doing illustrations, UFO illustrations for Wendell. And I have depicted all kind of aspects of ufology through my artwork. And I've never told my story as to how I got involved with this and where this research has taken me over the last 40 years. And it's been an incredible odyssey. It's taken me into places I never expected to go. But it's fun, and I'm looking forward to sharing my story, my personal story, with the gang up at MegaCon.
Now, would you be able to give us a little teaser about one of your experiences?
A teaser. Well, my teaser would have to be the initial experience would be I'm connected with Wendell Stevens when he was first investigating the Billy Meier contact in Switzerland. Wendell, just the year prior to when I met him, he had seen the Meier photographs, UFO photographs, and he said they're too good to be true. These have to be fake. But nobody, MUFON and APRO and the independent UFO research groups at that time were not spending the money to go over and actually investigate this case. So Wendell's retired Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force, and with his pension, he scrambled enough money together to go over and says, I got to meet this guy personally. I got to look this guy in the eye and see if he's lying or not. And one thing led to another. Wendell did go to Switzerland. He was so impressed by Mr. Meier and all the physical evidence that Meier had accumulated up to that point that he said, you know, it's like, I can't dismiss this as a fake, as a UFO fake hoax. So one thing led to another, and after almost 20 visits to Switzerland, Wendell Stevens became the premier investigator of that case. So how did I get involved with this? Meier claimed he was not allowed to photograph the occupants of the UFO or photograph the UFO actually landed on the ground. So I said, well, here, I'm a UFO artist. I can step in and I can provide illustrations to show that. And so that was my that was my premier experience of getting involved as a UFO researcher, as an artist, to create visually what UFO experiencers were describing and had no photographic proof of. So I've done the Billy Meier case, I've done the George Adamski case, I've done Crash at Roswell, you name it. I've done illustrations covering the major UFO stories within ufology.
Very fascinating. I'm looking forward to that. How do you feel about what's going on with disclosure right now? What are your thoughts on it? There's some very interesting things that at least I've never seen in my lifetime. Do you think it's going to remain like a slow drip process, or do you think we're gonna start ramping up some information soon?
I think with the mainstream, with the media, the way they present this, they always keep you on the edge of your seat. It's like, it's like always dangle the carrot. But you got to understand, I've been looking at the UFO phenomena since I was born the year after the crash at Roswell. So I've been watching this phenomena for a long time. And back in 1966, I remember radio announcer Frank Edwards came out with a book called UFO Serious Business. And he was saying in 1966, I was a junior in high school, disclosure is imminent. Any moment now, we're going to get disclosure. And, the little boy can cry wolf only so many times until you think, I ain't buying this anymore. So I'm very skeptical. I hate to say cynical, but I'm very skeptical about disclosure, real disclosure. And I'll tell you, it's because flying saucer technology and the alien reality are the true, most profound secrets that the deep state maintains control over. And you know that knowledge is power. And the deep state is not going to hand away its power. It's not going to give it away on a silver platter. So I would say for my own 40 years, I would say, don't hold your breath for disclosure. Don't hold your breath.
Now, speaking of the deep state, I'd like to get your thoughts on the state of the secret space program, especially with the announcement of the Space Force. How long do you think we've been having an operational secret space program?
I say the secret space program probably got underway about as far back as when the Germans developed V-2 rockets. That wasn't just to bomb London and France. That was technology that had a long-term trajectory. It's like we see the potential here to launch men into space. We see the potential here to create a space force that would dominate the entire planet. So, and Wernher von Braun from the get-go wasn't interested in making flying bombs. Wernher von Braun's greatest personal dream was to launch men to Mars. They said, well, if I have to go to work for the Germans military, if I have to go to work for NASA to develop this technology, I'm doing it for me, because I want to develop a technology that will put men in space where they can set foot on other planets. So yeah, I think the secret space has been around for a very long time, and I suspect that and this goes back to the deep state with its secrets, that the flying saucer technology would have been the premier technology for creating a secret space force, secret space fleet. So I think whistleblower William Tompkins, maybe he was telling some really serious stuff about where we have developed this technology ever since the Second World War.
Now, do you think we currently have operations possibly on the moon and Mars?
Well, let me put it this way. During World War II, we were developing the technology in absolute secrecy to develop an atomic bomb. Only the highest echelon scientists in our government knew about that. The general public had no idea. So, and then in 1945, they dropped a bomb, and they released the first atomic bomb in New Mexico. And they told the people in Texas and Arizona that big flash in the sky and that big roll of thunder that they heard, well, it was mass hallucination. And a month later, we were dropping atomic bombs on Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And so, yeah, we really did have that technology. So you apply that same mentality. If we had the technology to create a secret space force, if we had the technology to put a base on the moon and Mars, would we do it? Of course we would. So that's the mentality. That's the deep state mentality right there.
Yeah, I happen to agree, and I think that's fascinating. We live in fascinating times right now, and I definitely can't wait to meet you at the conference. I'm very much looking forward to your presentation, and I will see you there.
All right, thank you. We'll have fun there, I'm sure.
I really hope to see you there. There's never going to be an insane cost to get a picture or autograph with your favorite researcher. There's going to be some awesome optional meal options where you can hang out with fellow truth seekers and the speakers. This is also going to be the world's lowest cost convention, with economy attendance packages starting at $517.50 per person, including 8 nights hotel, 7 days, 8 nights conference attendance. Be sure to go to Laughlin UFO Mega Conference right now to get your early discount package prices. I really hope to see you there.